What if the reason you feel drained is not because life is too heavy, but because you keep carrying battles that were never yours to fight? We live in a world that praises constant caring, yet as one timeless truth says, the tighter you hold, the more you suffer. But what if letting go did not make you weaker? What if it made you untouchable? This is not fantasy, it is a discipline. And in this journey, I will show you the Buddhist path to becoming unbothered without becoming cold. Stay until the end for a powerful bonus habit that can make this transformation twice as fast. If these teachings resonate with you, do not forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more wisdom and guidance.
Lesson 1. The weight you chose without knowing. If freedom is your nature, why do you feel chained? You wake each day carrying burdens you never questioned, convinced they are part of you. Yet much of it is chosen unconsciously. You are bound by threads you choose to hold, expectations, opinions, and fears that are not your own. Like a bird clinging to a rusted cage door, you forget the sky was always yours. Buddhist wisdom teaches that suffering begins with attachment, not only to people or possessions, but also to ideas of how life should be. We carry them as if they are sacred, yet they are often illusions handed down by the noise of the world. Think of the mind as a backpack filled with stones, the need to impress, the fear of judgment, the urge to control outcomes. Some stones are placed by others, some by yourself. You do not notice the heaviness because it becomes normal. But normal does not mean necessary. To release these burdens, begin with awareness. Ask yourself, what am I holding that belongs to someone else? Imagine placing those burdens on the ground and notice the space they leave behind. This is not selfishness, it is clarity. Letting go is not giving up. It is choosing peace over needless struggle. Each morning, picture your heavy backpack and set down one stone. Perhaps the need to be liked, or the belief that you must always be right. Each stone removed is a breath returned to you. Loss can feel like emptiness, yet emptiness creates space for growth. When you loosen your grip, your hands open to receive what life has been offering all along. True abundance is not in adding more, but in removing what was never yours to hold. All along, this practice begins with courage. The courage to face the fear that without something, you will be less. Sit with the fear. Notice its weight, and ask yourself, what might I gain by letting go? Make it a daily ritual. At the end of each day, reflect on one thing you can release: a resentment, a false obligation, or a self-imposed expectation. Place it gently down, like a branch that has served its time. What was taken was never truly yours. What was given in its place, peace, clarity, and lightness, is infinitely more valuable. Losing is not always loss. Sometimes it is the beginning of being truly full. We would love to hear your thoughts. If you are not sure what to say, simply type, "I choose peace" daily.
Lesson 2. Detachment is not indifference. Can you love without clinging? We are taught that love means holding on, protecting, and never letting go. Yet Buddhist wisdom whispers another truth: care deeply, but hold lightly. Love is not measured by the tightness of your grip, but by the freedom you allow. Like holding a butterfly in your palm, the gentlest touch lets it stay, yet it is always free to fly when it chooses. Detachment is often misunderstood as coldness or indifference, but it is the opposite. Indifference says, "I do not care." Detachment says, "I care enough to let you be." It is love without chains, connection without possession. It allows both the other person and yourself to breathe without fear of losing or being lost. When we confuse love with control, we begin to smother the very thing we want to nurture. We try to manage how others think, act, and feel. We try to script their path so that it fits our idea of what is safe or right. But just as a tree cannot grow if you keep it in a pot too small, people cannot grow when our love becomes a cage. In your own life, reflect. Where are you confusing love with control? Perhaps it is in a relationship where you cannot rest until they act exactly as you hope. Perhaps it is in a friendship where your care turns into constant checking, correcting, or rescuing. Ask yourself how it would feel if these connections were lighter, if you could trust them enough to walk their path without gripping their steps. A daily practice of detachment begins with awareness. When you feel the urge to control, pause. Close your eyes and see the person you love wrapped in light, safe, whole, and free to live their life. This visualization is not about pushing them away, but about honoring their independence and your own peace. Detachment does not mean withdrawal. You can still be present, still offer kindness, still share moments of joy. But your happiness no longer hinges on their choices, their moods, or their path. You stop measuring love by the closeness of the body and begin to feel it in the openness of the heart. In this way, detachment is liberation for both of you. The less you cling, the more authentic your connections become. Love flows more freely when it is not tethered by fear. And you will find, as the Buddha taught, that freedom and love are not opposites, they are the same breath. Care deeply, but hold lightly, and in that space, both hearts can finally rest.
Lesson 3. The mirror that shows the real enemy. Who hurts you more, others or your own mind? The world can wound you, but it is often the echo in your thoughts that strikes the hardest. Your mind can be kinder than the world, or far crueler than it. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that the mind is both the painter of reality and the critic that can destroy it. Left unchecked, it turns small shadows into endless nights. Often, you are not fighting the world, but your own reflection. Most suffering does not come from what happens, but from the story you tell yourself about it. An insult may last a moment, but the replay in your mind can last for years. A failure may happen once, but you may weave it into a story of "I am not enough." The practice begins with awareness. When hurt, pause and ask, is this pain from outside or from the story I am telling myself? Often the event is small, but the mind paints it in heavy strokes. When a painful thought arises, do not push it away. See it like a passing cloud, shifting without solid form. Replace it with a gentler truth. Maybe it was not about me. Maybe I do not need to carry this. Each night reflect, how many battles today were only in my mind? You may find that your exhaustion comes not from life itself, but from wrestling with shadows. And shadows vanish when light is brought to them. In the end, the greatest enemy and the greatest friend both live in the same place, your own mind. Train it well, and it will protect you, not harm you.
Lesson 4. Silence, the language of inner strength. Must every truth be spoken to be real? In today's world, we are constantly urged to express, to respond, and to make our voices heard. Yet, Buddhist wisdom reminds us that silence too is an answer, and often the wisest one. The tongue can wound more deeply than a sword, yet it can also heal through restraint. True strength often lies in what we choose not to release into the world. Silence is not emptiness. It is a living space where thoughts settle, emotions cool, and clarity grows. Like a candle glowing quietly in the dark, silence gives light without sound. When we resist the urge to speak from anger, pride, or fear, we create a sanctuary where peace can take root, within ourselves and in our relationships with others. Much of our suffering arises from speaking too quickly. Words released in haste often plant seeds of conflict that may take years to uproot. Silence, when chosen mindfully, prevents entire gardens of regret from taking form. This practice begins in the delicate space before you speak, the moment of choice. Not every truth must be spoken aloud. Some truths are better lived than declared. Some need time in the quiet to ripen into wisdom. When spoken later, they nourish instead of wound. Try this in daily life. When you feel irritation rising, pause and breathe deeply. Imagine yourself resting in stillness for 1 full minute. Notice how much power remains in what is left unsaid. Often, silence transforms the energy of the moment. It softens tension, reduces misunderstanding, and invites empathy. This does not mean avoiding truth or suppressing feelings. It means choosing the right time and the right heart to express them. In this way, silence becomes a shield. You no longer feel the need to defend yourself in every situation or prove your worth with endless words. The less you yield to the impulse to react, the more inner space you create. In that space, strength grows, quietly, like a river that moves without noise, yet shapes entire landscapes. Silence is not weakness, but mastery. The calmest voice is often the one unspoken, yet it speaks volumes to those willing to listen. We would love to hear your reflections. If you are unsure what to share, simply type, "I choose peace" daily.
Lesson 5. The Illusion of Urgency. Who decided that everything must happen now? We live under constant pressure to answer quickly, to decide quickly, to achieve before the day ends. Yet Buddhist wisdom reminds us that not everything is meant to be hurried. Time is the ocean, and you are the shore. The waves will rise and fall regardless of how much you demand or resist. When the mind is trapped in urgency, it forgets that life moves with its own rhythm, like a river that reaches the sea without rushing and never arrives late. Your path, too, unfolds without needing to be forced. Still, we convince ourselves that if we pause, we will fall behind. In truth, it is the rushing that often makes us stumble. Urgency feeds stress, and stress clouds wisdom. When you demand answers before clarity has ripened, it is like planting seeds and digging them up each day to check if they have grown. You cannot rush the sunrise. You cannot force the tide to rise sooner. Yet we try, in our relationships, in our careers, in our healing, creating more suffering than the waiting itself ever could. Ask yourself, what am I rushing that would unfold perfectly in its own time? You may find that the urge to hurry comes from fear, the fear of losing control, of missing a chance, of facing the unknown. But when fear softens, you see the truth. Life has never been late. Everything that has shaped you arrived when you were ready to meet it. Practice this wisdom daily. The next time urgency rises, pause and take 3 slow breaths. Imagine the tide moving in and out, neither grasping for the shore nor fleeing from it. In that rhythm, feel your body soften. Your mind may try to pull you forward, but let it rest in the present, where no hurry exists. In stillness, decisions become clearer. In patience, actions become wiser. Opportunities that seem urgent now are often not the ones that truly matter. The ones that do matter will never pass you by. They will wait until you are calm enough to receive them. Over time, you will see that urgency is often an illusion, a shadow cast by the mind's restlessness. The less you obey it, the more peace you allow in. Life no longer feels like a race. It begins to feel like a walk through a garden, where each step can be noticed and each breath savored. You are the shore. Time is the ocean. Let the waves come as they will. You will meet them when they arrive, and never a moment too late.
Lesson 6. The quiet rebellion against chaos. How does one win without fighting? In a world that celebrates reaction, the choice to remain still can appear like surrender. Yet Buddhist wisdom reveals a deeper truth. Peace itself is a victory, and it requires no battle. There is a profound strength in refusing to let chaos dictate your movements, in choosing silence when the world demands noise. Conflict calls for your attention, tempting you to join its rhythm and match its energy. But this is like dancing to a song you never wanted to hear. You do not have to join every argument, respond to every provocation, or defend every action. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in the refusal to enter the arena at all. When you resist the pull of chaos, you create space for your own rhythm to be heard. This is not passivity, nor is it ignorance of injustice. It is the practice of not allowing yourself to be swept away by the storms of others. Imagine standing in the middle of a noisy crowd, where tempers flare and voices rise, yet within you remains only the steady rhythm of your breath. This calm presence is not weakness, but mastery. The world will always have its noise and its urgent demands for your reaction. But when you respond from stillness, your actions are thoughtful, precise, and free from the poison of impulse. Many of the battles we fight are born not from necessity, but from ego, the desire to be right, to be seen, to be acknowledged. When you release this need, you may realize that most conflicts are not worth the energy they demand. The quiet rebellion against chaos is not about withdrawing from life, but about engaging with it from a place of clarity. When others push, you do not have to push back. When they raise their voices, you can lower yours. When they rush, you can slow down. These simple choices create ripples that calm the waters around you. Over time, this practice transforms not only your experience of the world, but also how the world experiences you. People begin to recognize that your peace is not fragile, that it cannot be stolen by provocation. In this way, you win without fighting. The true victory is mastery of the self. Peace is not the absence of noise. It is the refusal to let noise rule over you. And this quiet choice, made moment by moment, becomes the deepest rebellion of all.
Bonus lesson: the freedom of needing less. Happiness is not found in adding more, but in letting go. In a world that teaches us to collect possessions, achievements, and approval, there is an old truth that whispers, "You are richest when you want nothing." The sky does not need to gather clouds to be beautiful. The clearer it is, the whiter and brighter it becomes. In the same way, life feels lighter when we release the weight of constant wanting, comparison, and restless striving. We often believe peace will arrive once we gain more money, more praise, more comfort. Yet desire is a moving target. Each time you reach it, it shifts again, pulling you into an endless chase. Monks understand this cycle, and that is why they step off the path of constant wanting. By needing less, they discover they have already arrived. Picture your life with fewer demands. Not fewer joys, but fewer conditions for joy to appear. Without the thought, "I will be happy when," your eyes open to what is already here: the glow of morning light, the taste of a simple meal, the ease of a deep breath. These blessings are not rare. They are only missed when we keep our attention fixed on what is lacking. To need less is not to reject beauty, but to no longer be controlled by what you think you must have. The more you loosen your grip, the more you realize that life has always been holding you. The freedom of needing less is not a loss. It is a return home. Happiness does not need to be created. It only needs to be uncovered. And when you uncover it, you see it was never lost.
Final thoughts. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your energy, and your emotions, the greatest act of self-mastery is learning what to let go of. The less you care about what does not serve your soul, the more space you create for what truly nourishes it. Inner peace is not about escaping life, but about no longer being disturbed by it. As Zen philosophy teaches, you will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. In the same way, caring too much for the wrong things becomes its own suffering. When you train yourself to release attachment, to remain steady amid the noise, and to focus only on what you can control, you stop living in reaction and begin living in choice. So today, decide to travel lighter. Choose stillness over conflict, clarity over chaos, and freedom over control. If your heart can hold less of what is unnecessary, it will naturally make space for joy. If this message opened your spiritual perspective on happiness, then do not forget to like and share this video. Share your reflections in the comment section, as your words may inspire someone else on their path. Subscribe and awaken your mind with Wisdom Kingdom.